Today we're going to look at what energy needs to be embodied in order to find a resolution with any sort of problem that you're dealing with. So anything that feels like it's not resolved, like needs some redemption, some being brought into balance, whether that's in relationships, whether that's with your health, in your physical body, whether that's with the health of your emotional body, whether that's in your finances or your career. So whatever quote unquote problem. And I say quote unquote problem because not that lots of times they feel like real problems, but a lot of times I think problems are actually just discomforts that are messengers about the real imbalance or the real problem that's going on in our life. So sometimes we call, there's one of them. Sometimes we call things problems when they're actually messengers. And I'm getting the sense here. So anything you're coming to this reading for that you feel like is labeled a problem, I feel like it's a messenger for a little deeper thing going on that might be out of your awareness. So we're going to try to get some information about that. And again, the way we're going to do that is by asking the question, what energy needs to be embodied in order to bring resolution to this problem? I want one more card, please. Then we're going to look at the bottom of the deck as well. One more card. It's actually at the bottom of the deck. Okay, here we are. Okay, so we've got the Fool in reverse, 10 of Pentacles upright, Ace of Cups in reverse, and the 9 of Pentacles upright at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so when we look at these cards in terms of the energy that needs to be embodied in order for you to bring resolution to whatever problem you're experiencing at this time, what's really coming through strongly is the, well, first let's start here with the Fool in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So what's coming to me is, I think you may have been thinking that in order to bring resolution to this problem, I need a whole entirely new beginning. Because the Fool is the first card in the major arcana. It represents going on an entirely new adventure. And the Ace of Cups can often represent a new emotional beginning. Cups represent emotions. And I think the energy that needs to be embodied is maybe like a willingness to let go of that assumption. Because there's something, so you've got 10 of Pentacles right in the middle of your reading, and you've got 9 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So bottom of the deck often represents like underlying influence of this entire journey that you're on, of why you have this problem and you're being asked to figure out how to bring this problem to resolution. And that's for 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is self-sufficient energy. It's just strong energy. It's freedom. It's getting your needs met through your own agency, through your own free will and choices. It's beautiful energy. So as much as this problem might be annoying, frustrating, downright scary, or disappointing, there's a reason you're going through it. So the problem is here as a messenger to help you become more 9 of Pentacles. And you're being asked to go through the experience of having the problem to bringing the problem to resolution, and not through like a Band-Aid sort of solution, but through deep rebalancing at the foundation. So looking at things like I mentioned at the beginning where you might be unconscious of right now, bringing it up to the level of consciousness so you can have true healing and true rebalancing. So there's a really, really, really beautiful purpose to any discomfort that you're going through right now. And I think, again, the energy that needs to be embodied to bring this problem to resolution is like the opposite of start-stop energy. Because I'm kind of getting that essence with the Fool in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse is like, I need a new beginning. I don't know how to have a new beginning, but I need a new beginning to bring this to resolution. And does that make sense? I need a new emotional beginning. I need a grand new adventure. I need to start something new. And what the 10 of Pentacles can often speak about is kind of settling into the satisfaction that things are in place and trusting more that things can come together, which allows some, even though the 10 of Pentacles is very practical, it's pentacle energy, which is like, it is earthy energy. It's like the things of physical nature. It's the things we need to get our physical needs met. There's also with the Ten of Pentacles, like this beauty, like you've gone through the whole pentacle journey, right? From the ace to the 10. And now you're embodying that, although there's a lot of, like, pentacles are very earthy. You're like, I think sometimes when we get to tens, we hold paradoxes in a beautiful way. And so with the pentacle journey, there's like practicality to it that we have to learn, right? There's some physical maturity that we have to learn. And with the Ten of Pentacles, there's a bit of magic in it. There's a willingness to allow things to align. There's a trust in what you've already done. And that's a big thing coming through. And maybe that's one way to summarize it. Instead of trying to have a new beginning, the energy that needs to be embodied is a trust in the work you've already done. And settling into that a little bit in order to allow this resolution to happen. Does that make sense? So I think you've probably done a lot. I mean, you don't just get the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, frankly. So I think you've already done a lot of work, and it could be a lot of emotional labor even. Like you maybe have done a lot of healing, or maybe it's more tangible stuff. Maybe you've like literally built things up in your business or your career. Maybe it has to do with physical stuff. Like maybe you've really changed things with how you relate to your body and what you're eating and how you're moving. But I think you've done a lot of work. And so what has to be like let go of is this idea that you haven't. That, you know, again, that stop-start energy, or that, like, I don't even think it's stop-start energy, because I think you've started and you've prevailed, but then there's this like part of you that thinks you haven't done enough or something. And so I think there's some like healing that wants to be brought to that part of you. Because I think there's a lot of aspects of you and a lot of aspects of your life that are in alignment with the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So as I'm speaking this out more, the sense I'm getting is there's a part or two of you that still requires some insight and some healing. And it keeps telling you that you haven't done enough. It keeps telling you that, like, you have to have a whole new beginning, grand adventure. You have to have a whole new emotional beginning in order to bring this to resolution. And unless you're like willing to take that risk and like that's the energy that's maybe being embodied right now. Like I need to be willing to do that, and I need to be willing to do that. And I think what is required, the energy embodiment that's required to actually bring this to resolution, is to let that fantasy go, to acknowledge that there's parts of you that still feel that way, but there's other parts of you that are a bit more grounded. And then if you can unblend from these parts that are scared, and from that scared energy is trying to, like, because it kind of just feels like that to me, right? Like a little abrupt searching, where this just feels grounded. So I think like letting that grounded parts of you, letting those grounded parts of you lead the way and bring some healing to those maybe a little less grounded parts of you. I definitely think through that presence, there's going to be resolution. And that doesn't mean it could mean it comes magically. And it might mean through that presence, you get ideas that you can put into action that ironically move you towards new beginnings, right? Resolutions are new beginnings, right? But there's like this paradox of like, I think you can't be seeking out the new beginning to get the new beginning. There's a standing in your power in the presence, grounding yourself in whatever way you can, acknowledging and celebrating yourself for all the work you've already done, both tangibly and in the healing sense. And then ironically, these can flip to a new emotional beginning, resolution, to new adventures. But they can't be forced. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you, but I've tried to force new beginnings in my life so many times. And it's almost like you can't trick the universe, right? And so there's something here, and maybe that's another thing, like maybe you're trying like all the tactics and all the spiritual stuff to just like try to trick the universe, to try to have your new beginning, which it equals a resolution, you know, new beginnings, resolution, however you want to put it. What is this card? Eight of Swords. Interesting. Just taking a little peek here. Okay. So, one second. So I think there's like we have to all, I think, be willing to be like, maybe I misunderstood how to bring this into balance. Maybe I misunderstood how to bring this to resolution. And maybe I was just like trying to trick the universe, and that's okay. It's okay. We all do whatever we need to do to feel safe until we're willing to be like, wait, maybe I'm misunderstanding something here. And maybe, like, maybe there's more grounded ways to go about this. And I certainly don't mean to like call you out, because I think, again, I've been there where it's like you're just trying to get things going or solve this problem, and you're trying to have that new beginning, and so you're doing all these different things, and you would never really think you're tricking the universe because you're like really trying earnestly, right? But I do think when that all that energy, or when that's happening, and that effort is because unconsciously it's being fueled by the ego, do you know what I mean? Then the universe is really kind. Mother God is really kind and is like, I'm going to delay that new beginning until there's a bit more healing that's brought into these parts that think that new beginning is so urgent. And there's less having to try to have things look a certain way. And there's more of a real earnest desire and curiosity about how to embody something different, how to be someone different. And so I think that is what's happening. And the good news about that is it's so exhausting to try to force our new beginnings, isn't it? Like, it's exhausting. So I think like you are being given this big permission slip where you don't have to exhaust yourself anymore. And I feel like that's like what this Eight of Swords was. The reason I felt like it was so interesting is because like Eight of Swords is so different than Nine of Pentacles. Eight of Swords is like one of the most uncomfortable cards in the deck, right? And that's why I feel like it speaks of, or it relates to the Fool in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse, because when we're trying to trick the universe and we don't realize that we're doing that, or we're convinced that's the only way we'll get our new beginning, like it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. But I think when we can be more grounded in our approach and more curious about, again, true embodiment versus like forcing things to happen or having our life look a certain way, then ironically things can happen and magic can start to work, and the work that we've done in the past can build and compound, and resolutions can come, and ideas for resolutions can come, and new beginnings can be unlocked. But we really have to do it through embodiment versus force, through embodiment versus, what's the opposite of embodiment? Disembodiment? through curiosity too. I think there's a big thing about curiosity here, like a willingness to be curious about how this can come to resolution versus an assumption about how it's going to, and a telling of the universe about how it's going to. I think there's a request, an advice from Spirit, a request from Spirit would be to get a bit more curious, because I think just little shifts with that curiosity energy versus like the telling energy can make all the difference in the world. So you're doing great work. Really, this is about like acknowledging the great work that you've already done instead of letting the parts of you that think you haven't done enough take the lead. So I think there's a lot to celebrate here. I think, I always think, regardless of what you're facing, without trying to undermine the discomfort, like there's always so much juice there, isn't there? When we can like sink into our problems and really be with them and really get curious instead of like not. Profound, I know. But for real, like, you know what I mean? That practice of like, ooh, here it is. It's a discomfort. It's a problem. What is it trying to tell me? And really utilizing that curious energy, then like so much can be unlocked. And I just feel that for you. So the more you are willing to be curious, the more you are willing to let the universe lead the way. Let Mother God take your hand, lead the way. The more you're willing to lay down assumptions, I just think this, whatever problem you're dealing with, has such high potential to not only turn into a resolution, from problem to resolution, from imbalance to balance, but a true new beginning and just like solid energy, Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. So keep going, keep healing, and I wish you all the best.